Hi guys, Dan Stewart again with ArcticNova.org, bringing you more coverage for the I42 competition, and I'm here with BiGjD, who's going to be commentating, shoutcasting the final. So first question, how did you get into gaming?
Oh, going back a while now, so probably going back to what 99, 2000 really. My cousin actually got Counter-Strike back in the early days, he's kind of his house player. And sort of at the time I was in sixth form, I had a lot of time on my hands, and I just sort of just played constantly really. Never really got particularly good, which was sort of the issue, and then I just sort of progressed into broadcasting from there really. I can do this, and I'm used to it when it comes to Counter-Strike.
Did you, when you first started playing, how did you get into commentating on games from there?
That is quite a funny story actually. Basically what happened was, me and a friend of mine were on IRC, and TSN, Team Sportscast Network, were doing some little advertisement thing about, do you want to have a go, you've got to teach me broadcaster. And one of my mates actually said, look, he said, if you record a demo and send it to TSN and send me a copy of that demo, I'll give you a tenner. So basically it was a bit of a joke really, so he could laugh at me for being god awful. And I sent this demo through, and Mashton from TSN, we do too much name dropping here. He basically got in touch and said, you're not bad, you want to do it, and it sort of took off from there.
So you've been out of the scene for a while now, and you've just come back in. What were the reasons for that?
Slacking really, work, commitments and just everything else, and there's a lot of time that needs to be invested in something like this. You need to know who the teams are, who the big players are, the big organisations, things like that, and when you're out for a while it's a bit of a downward spiral, and you get more and more out of touch with the scene, it gets harder to get back into it, and then you sort of completely fall out of touch with it.
So you've been back for a couple of days now.
Yeah.
You've been doing some commentating for Frag Radio, and how's that been going so far?
It's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, a big shout out to all the guys I've been working with at Avalanche and Crossy and everyone. Everyone's been absolutely fantastic. Really, I mean, a few hiccups here and there organisation wise, but I mean, it's a land. That's what happens. It's part of the fun. If something can go wrong, it probably will. But other than that, the broadcast has been brilliant. The players have been brilliant. There's been some fantastic matchups out there. We've got a big final coming up later today as well, so that's going to be good.
So speaking about the final, we're down to the semi-finals, obviously.
Yeah.
So what's your take on the teams? What do you think the final's going to be?
The final's going to be Epsilon Toxic. Hands down, it's going to be Epsilon Toxic.
And why do you think that is?
Well, the Epsilon guys are actually quite like X1.6 players. Wes, for example, X1.6 players. So I know some of the guys, and I know they're very good. I know that they are seeded first, and seeded first for a reason. I don't think they've lost games since they've been here. Fragmasters Toxic, once again, just a phenomenal team, really. No one's really come close to them. There's been a few games where it's got a bit iffy, but realistically, these are the standard, and they're just on a different level, I think, to the majority of the opposition.
And so you think it's going to be the final. Has there been any standout players that you've been looking at this LAN? Anyone who's particularly impressed you since you've been commentating?
I'm still a little bit new to the CSO, so I'm sort of learning my way around the players. There was a player called Zed, I think. I can't remember what team it was now.
Zed plays for Link Gaming.
Link Gaming, that was it. I believe he got a really good 5-man on Contra. It was really good. He stood out to me very much. But I'm still sort of learning the ropes, learning the players, learning the scene. I'm going to keep watching the games really, but to be honest, other than that, I can't really do too much name dropping, because really I can't say I know who these guys are, but there's been some phenomenal players over here, to be honest. Every one of them individually absolutely brilliant. It's very difficult to set them apart, I think. So going back to you, once iSeries is all wrapped up and finished, will you be continuing commentating? Is it something you're going to come back to? I'd like to, yeah. I think at some point, given the opportunity, if someone does, if someone gives me a call, picks up the phone and says, do you want to come do an event? If I've got the time, then yeah, I'll come down and do it. I'll do what I can to get into the scene really. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's a bit of a bringing me back to the old days sort of thing, and it just reminds me why I did it and why I enjoyed it, and that same buzz and that same adrenaline rush is still there.
So we covered earlier your earlier career. Has there been any sort of particular point in your career that's been a real big high for you, or any sort of real lows at all?
Everything with TSN, just everything. Me and Mashton particularly, we work so well together. I had the pleasure of casting with him. It might be one of the best broadcasters in the UK, if not the best. He's absolutely phenomenal. We did Code 5. I think it was 2006. That was a big high point for us. That was a hell of a lot of fun. Just everything about the TSN days really. It was just perfect, absolutely perfect.
Well, thanks for joining us, BiGjD. Are there any shout-outs or any call-outs you want to do to anyone?
Well, shout out basically to everyone who's turned out here to make this event as brilliant as it is. Shout out for the guys organising it, the admins, everyone who's put in the hard work. Shout out to Damage for actually allowing me to do the final, and to Crossy, who's going to be casting with me. Avalanche, who I've worked a lot with throughout the event, and basically everyone at Frag Radio.
Fantastic. Well, that's going to wrap it up here, guys. I'll see you guys in the final, and looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, before we finish, do you want a bum?
Yeah.